The truth that burns in my chest like hot coals, that keeps me awake at night, that makes my hands shake when I'm alone, is that I can hear everything. Every whisper, every footstep, every conversation they have about me when they think I'm not paying attention. Poor Amara, they say.
Such a shame.
So beautiful. But what use is beauty when she's trapped in that silent world? If you're watching this video, tell us your name, where you're watching from, and what time it is for you. They have no idea what trap really means. You want to know about loneliness? Real loneliness? It's not being alone. It's being surrounded by people and having to pretend they don't exist. It's hearing laughter and not being able to join in. It's listening to someone pour their heart out and having to keep your face blank, expressionless, empty. It's watching life happen around you like you're behind glass, and you put yourself there, and you have to stay there, because the alternative is so much worse. The alternative is the ritual. God, even thinking about it makes my skin crawl. The binding ceremony. That's what they call it, like it's something sacred, something holy. But there's nothing sacred about it. Nothing holy. It's ownership. It's chains disguised as destiny. It's taking a woman, a living, breathing person with dreams and fears and a beating heart, and turning her into property, into a vessel, into nothing more than a symbol of the Alpha King's power. They tried to take me 6 years ago. I was 19 years old, barely more than a girl, and they came for me in the night. I remember the torches. I remember the chanting. I remember hands grabbing at me, pulling me toward the ceremonial circle, and I remember thinking, this is it. This is how my life ends. Not with death, but with something worse. With becoming something that isn't me anymore. But I fought. Oh, I fought like hell. I screamed and I clawed and I bit, and when they finally managed to drag me to the circle's edge, something inside me just broke. Or maybe it didn't break. Maybe it crystallized. Hardened. Became something sharp and desperate and absolutely unwilling to surrender. That's when I made the choice. The choice that would define the next 6 years of my life. The choice that would save me and destroy me in equal measure. I went silent. Not just quiet. Silent. Completely, utterly, convincingly silent. I shut down every response, every reaction, every flicker of recognition. I made myself into a statue.
A doll.
Someone so profoundly disconnected from the world that they couldn't possibly be part of any ritual, any ceremony, any binding. Because the ritual requires consent. Not spoken consent, God, no, they'd never be so civilized, but consciousness. Awareness. The ability to participate, even involuntarily, in the mystical connection that ties a woman to the Alpha King's pack. And you can't bind someone who isn't really there. So I left. Not physically, I stayed right where they could see me, right where they could monitor me. But mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I vanished. I became a ghost in my own body. The deaf girl. The damaged girl. The girl who was no use to anyone, least of all an Alpha King who needed a mate capable of completing the sacred bond. They believed it. Of course they believed it. Why wouldn't they? Who would choose this? Who would willingly condemn themselves to years of isolation, of pretending, of living half a life just to avoid, what? A destiny that others would kill for? A bond with the most powerful shifter in the realm? A position of honor and influence? They don't understand. They can't understand. Because they've never been told that their body isn't their own. That their future has been decided by ancient laws written by dead men who saw women as nothing more than breeding stock and political pawns. That their dreams, their desires, their very souls are worth less than the continuation of some bloodline, some tradition, some meaningless ritual that's been performed for centuries just because it's always been performed. I would rather die than be bound. I would rather spend the rest of my life in this self-imposed silence than give up even one moment of my autonomy. And if that makes me selfish, if that makes me ungrateful, if that makes me a coward, fine. Call me whatever you want. At least I'm still me. But God, it hurts. It hurts so much more than I ever thought it would. The loneliness is crushing. Some days I wake up and I can barely breathe under the weight of it. I watch people connect with each other, touch, laugh, share moments of genuine human warmth, and I'm on the outside looking in. Always on the outside. Always looking in. I've forgotten what it feels like to have a real conversation. To tell a joke and hear someone laugh. To say, I'm scared, or I'm tired, or please, someone, anyone, see me for who I really am. Instead, I get pitying glances, slow, exaggerated gestures, people speaking loudly, as if volume could somehow penetrate my supposed deafness.
They treat me like a child.
Like I'm simple. Like my inability to hear has somehow diminished my entire being. And I let them. I have to let them. Because the moment I don't, the moment I slip up and respond to something I shouldn't be able to hear, it's over. They'll know. And once they know, there's no going back. The ritual will be back on the table, and this time, they'll make sure I can't escape. Tonight is different, though. I can feel it in my bones, in the way the air tastes, in the strange electric quality of the moonlight pouring through my window. The moon is full, perfectly, impossibly full, and it's calling to something deep inside me. Something I've been trying to suppress for 6 years. Something wild and primal and absolutely terrified. Because tonight I know. I know he's coming. Alpha King Kaelen. I've heard the rumors. Of course I've heard them. Even in my silence, information finds its way to me. Whispered conversations I'm not supposed to understand. Anxious discussions about the Alpha King's search. About his growing obsession with finding a mate. About his conviction that somewhere, somehow, there's a woman who is meant to be his, and he won't rest until he finds her.
He's looking for me.
I know he is. I can feel his presence growing closer every day, like a storm building on the horizon. The pack members get nervous when his name is mentioned. They look at me differently. They wonder. They suspect. But they don't know. They can't know. Because I've been so careful, so disciplined, so absolutely committed to this lie I'm living. Except it's getting harder. God, it's getting so much harder. Last week, I almost broke. A child was crying in the market. Really crying. That heartbroken wail that children make when they're lost and scared. And every instinct in my body screamed at me to turn around, to help, to do something. But I didn't. I couldn't. I just kept walking, my face blank, my eyes forward, while that child sobbed, and finally their mother found them. I went home and threw up. Just knelt on the floor of this tiny room and retched until there was nothing left inside me but bile and shame and a rage, so profound I thought it might actually kill me. This is what they've made me into. This is what I've had to become to survive. And I hate it. I hate them for forcing this choice on me. I hate the system that made this necessary. I hate the ritual and the traditions and the entire goddamn world that thinks it's acceptable to treat women like commodities to be traded and bound and used. But most of all, and this is the part that really kills me, I hate that a tiny part of me wonders what it would have been like. If I'd just given in. If I'd let the ritual happen. If I'd accepted this bond with the Alpha King and stopped fighting and just surrendered. Would it really have been so bad? Would I have lost myself completely? Or would I have found something I didn't know I was missing? Would the bond have felt like chains? Or would it have felt like belonging?
No.
No, I can't think like that. That's exactly how they win. That's exactly how they break you. They make you doubt yourself. They make you question whether your autonomy is really worth all this pain, all this sacrifice, all this crushing loneliness. And the answer is yes. It is worth it. It has to be worth it. Because if it's not, if I've spent 6 years in this self-imposed hell for nothing, then I don't know how I'll survive the truth. The moon is fully risen now. I can see it perfectly through my window, huge and silver and beautiful. It should be peaceful, calming. Instead, it fills me with dread. Because full moons mean power. They mean magic. They mean the veil between the mundane and the mystical grows thin, and things that should stay hidden become visible. Things like me. I can feel it starting already. That pull. That awareness. Like something is looking for me, searching through the darkness, following the thread of whatever cosmic connection was supposed to bind me to the Alpha King 6 years ago. The thread I've been trying to sever, to hide, to pretend doesn't exist. But it does exist. I know it does. I can feel it in my chest, a constant ache, a persistent tug toward something, someone I've never allowed myself to acknowledge. And tonight, that pull is stronger than it's ever been. My hands are shaking. I press them against the windowsill, trying to steady myself, trying to breathe, trying to remember all the reasons why I need to stay strong, stay silent, stay hidden. But I can hear footsteps outside. Lots of them. Approaching quickly. They're coming. He's coming. And I'm not ready. God, I'm not ready. 6 years of preparation, 6 years of building walls around myself, 6 years of practicing my blank expression and my empty eyes, and I'm still not ready for this. Because part of me, that traitorous, desperate, lonely part that I've been trying to suppress, wants to be found, wants to stop running, wants to finally let someone see me for who I really am. Even if that someone is the very person I've been hiding from. The footsteps stop outside my door. There's a long pause, seconds that feel like hours, and then a knock. Firm. Authoritative. Undeniable. I don't respond. I can't respond. I'm deaf, remember? I can't hear knocking. The door opens anyway. And there he is. Alpha King Kaelen. I've seen him before, of course. From a distance. In crowds. Always careful to make sure my eyes never lingered too long, never showed recognition, never betrayed the fact that I knew exactly who he was and what he wanted. But this is different. This is close. This is intimate. This is him standing in my doorway, filling the entire frame with his presence, and I can feel the power rolling off him in waves. He's massive, easily 6.5 feet tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair that falls just past his collar and eyes that seem to glow in the moonlight. Gold. Amber. The eyes of a predator. He's dressed simply. Dark pants, a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, but there's nothing simple about the way he carries himself. He moves like violence held in check, like power restrained by the thinnest thread of control.
And he's looking at me.
Really looking at me. Like he can see straight through all my carefully constructed defenses, right down to the terrified girl at the center. I keep my face blank, expressionless. I don't turn to face him, because I didn't hear him enter. I'm still looking out the window, at the moon, pretending I'm completely unaware of his presence. But I can feel him. God, can I feel him? It's like electricity in the air, like the moment before lightning strikes. My skin is prickling. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it. Every instinct I have is screaming at me to run, to fight, to do something, anything, other than sit here like prey waiting to be caught. I don't move.
He speaks.
His voice is deep, rough, with an edge of something I can't quite identify. Frustration? Longing?
Pain?
Amara. My name. He said my name. And the way he said it, gentle, almost reverent, makes my chest tighten with an emotion I refuse to name. I don't react. Deaf girls don't react to their names being spoken. He moves closer. I can track his approach by the creaking of the floorboards, by the shift in the air, by the overwhelming sense of him invading my space. He stops right behind me, close enough that I can feel the heat radiating from his body, close enough that if I leaned back even slightly, I'd be touching him. I know you can hear me. My blood turns to ice.
No. No, no, no.
This can't be happening. He can't know. Nobody knows. I've been so careful, so disciplined, so perfect in my performance.
But I don't react.
I can't react, because maybe he's bluffing. Maybe he's testing me. Maybe if I just hold on a little longer, maintain the facade a little longer, he'll give up and leave, and I can go back to my safe, silent, miserable existence. I've known for a while now, he continues, and there's something in his voice that sounds almost sad. You're good, I'll give you that. Better than good. You've fooled everyone. The pack, the elders, even my most trusted advisors. They all believe you're truly deaf. He pauses. I can hear him breathing.
Steady.
Controlled. While my own breath is coming in short, panicked gasps that I'm trying desperately to hide. But I can feel you, Amara. I've always been able to feel you. From the moment the ritual was supposed to bind us, I felt you. Like a song playing at the edge of my consciousness. Like a light in the darkness. You think you hid from me, but you've been with me every single day for 6 years. The rage that floods through me is so intense it makes my vision blur.
How dare he?
How dare he act like he's the victim here? Like he's the one who's been suffering? He's the Alpha King. He has power, authority, choice. He could have stopped the ritual. He could have said no. He could have protected me instead of hunting me. But I still don't move.
Still don't speak.
Because breaking now would prove him right, and I won't give him that satisfaction. I know you're angry, he says quietly. I know you hate me. I know you think I'm a monster for what was done to you. And maybe I am. Maybe I deserve your hatred. But Amara, please.
Just look at me.
Just once. Let me see your eyes and know that you're really there. Something in his voice breaks on that last word.
Cracks.
Like he's the one who's desperate, who's lonely, who's been living with an ache he can't name for 6 years. And that's what is it. That tiny crack in his composure. That glimpse of vulnerability. Because it mirrors something inside me. Something I've been refusing to acknowledge. I'm so tired. So tired of being alone. So tired of pretending. So tired of running from something that might not even be the monster I've built it up to be in my head. So I turn.
Slowly.
Deliberately. Meeting his eyes for the first time in 6 years. And the world stops. The bond. The connection. The thing I've been denying and suppressing and running from it. Slams into me with the force of a physical blow. I can feel him. Not just his presence, but his emotions. His pain. His loneliness. His desperate, aching need to find me, to connect with me, to make right something that went so terribly wrong. He's been suffering too. Maybe not the same way I have, but suffering nonetheless. And I hate that I care. I hate that it matters. I hate that looking into his golden eyes and feeling his pain makes my anger waver, makes my certainty crack, makes me question everything I thought I knew about this situation. There you are, he whispers, and there's so much relief in his voice it makes my throat tight. There's my... Don't. The word tears itself from my throat, ragged and raw from 6 years of disuse. My voice sounds wrong. Foreign. Like it belongs to someone else. Don't you dare finish that sentence. I am not yours. I have never been yours. I will never be yours. The relief on his face shifts to something more complex. Understanding, maybe. Or resignation. I know, he says. I know you're not. That's not what He stops, runs a hand through his hair, and for a moment he looks nothing like an Alpha King. He looks like a man who's exhausted and confused and trying desperately to find the right words. The ritual. 6 years ago. I need you to understand something about what happened. I don't want to hear it. My voice is getting stronger now, fueled by 6 years of suppressed rage. I don't want your explanations or your justifications or your excuses. You were going to bind me. You were going to take away my choice, my freedom, my entire life. You were going to turn me into nothing more than an extension of your power.
No.
The word is firm. Absolute.
No, Amara.
I was trying to stop it. I laugh. It's a bitter, ugly sound. Really? That's your story? The Alpha King, the most powerful shifter in the realm, was powerless to stop a ritual? Yes. He takes a step forward, and I instinctively step back, maintaining the distance between us. He notices and stops, pain flashing across his face. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. The ritual isn't controlled by the Alpha. It's controlled by the elders, by tradition, by magic older than any of us. I didn't want it. I never wanted it. But I couldn't stop it alone. Then you should have tried harder. The words come out venomous, and I see them hit him like arrows. You're right.
His voice is quiet now.
You're absolutely right. I should have fought harder. I should have risked everything, my position, my pack, my life, to protect you. And I didn't. I tried to work within the system, to find a loophole, to delay until I could figure out a way to stop it permanently. And while I was being cautious and political and strategic, you were suffering. You made a choice I never would have asked you to make. You destroyed a part of yourself to stay free, and that's on me. The worst part is that he sounds genuine. He sounds like he actually means it. Like he's actually been carrying guilt for 6 years, just like I've been carrying rage. And I don't know what to do with that. You felt it, I say, my voice shaking. You said you could feel me this whole time. The bond. The connection. So you knew I was suffering. You knew I was pretending, hiding, barely surviving. And you still came looking for me. You still want to complete the ritual. So, what was all that pretty speech worth? What does your guilt matter if you're still going to take my freedom? That's not why I'm here. He holds up his hands, a gesture of surrender. Amara, I'm not here to complete the ritual. I'm here to break it. The words don't make sense. I stare at him, trying to find the lie, the trick, the manipulation. But his eyes are steady. Honest. What? The ritual that was supposed to bind us 6 years ago. It's not complete, but it's not gone either. It's in limbo. Partially formed. Causing pain for both of us. He touches his chest, right over his heart. I can feel you constantly. Your emotions, your pain, your loneliness. And I know you've been feeling me too, even if you didn't want to admit it. That ache you carry? That pull? That's the incomplete bond, and it's tearing us both apart. I want to deny it. I want to tell him he's wrong. But I can't. Because he's right. I have felt it. That constant awareness. That persistent ache. I thought it was just trauma, just the psychological weight of what I'd been through. But deep down I knew. I've always known. So, what are you suggesting? I ask, and I hate how small my voice sounds. How vulnerable. There are 2 ways to resolve an incomplete bond, he says. Complete it, which I know you don't want, and neither do I, not like this, not when it was forced on both of us. Or, he pauses, and I can see how much the next words cost him. Or we face it together. We go through the breaking ceremony. It's dangerous. Painful. There's a chance we both might not survive it. But if we do, we'll be free. Truly free. No bond. No connection. Nothing tying us together. Why would you do that? The question bursts out of me before I can stop it. You're the Alpha King. Having a bonded mate gives you power. Status. Why would you give that up? He looks at me for a long moment, and there's something in his eyes that makes my breath catch. Something raw and honest and utterly devastating. Because I've spent 6 years feeling your pain, he says quietly. 6 years knowing that you'd rather destroy yourself than be with me. 6 years understanding that the bond we were supposed to share, it's a prison for you. And I won't be your jailer, Amara. I won't be the reason you have to keep hiding, keep pretending, keep suffering. If breaking the bond kills me, at least I'll die knowing I set you free. The silence that follows is deafening. I can hear my own heartbeat, rapid and chaotic. I can hear the wind outside, the distant sounds of the pack, the creaking of the floorboards under our feet. And I can feel him. God, I can feel him so clearly now that my defenses are down. His sincerity, his pain, his absolute conviction that he's doing the right thing, even though it's killing him. He's telling the truth. He really is willing to die to set me free. And I have no idea what to do with that information. I don't trust you, I finally say. I don't trust that this isn't some elaborate trick. Some way to get me to lower my guard so you can complete the bond after all. I know. He nods, accepting my distrust like he expected it. I know, and I don't blame you. You have every reason not to trust me. Every reason to hate me. But Amara, we're both trapped right now. Both suffering. And I'm offering you a way out. A real way out. Not a compromise. Not a negotiation. Freedom. At what cost? Because there's always a cost. There's always a catch. Pain, he says simply. Lots of it. The breaking ceremony is brutal. It tears apart a bond that was meant to be permanent, and it doesn't do it gently. We'll have to face every moment of the ritual, every connection that was supposed to form, and we'll have to actively reject it while it tries to complete itself. It will hurt. It will be the worst thing either of us has ever experienced. But at the end, if we survive, we'll be free.
Free.
The word sounds almost mythical. After 6 years of hiding, 6 years of pretending, 6 years of living half a life, the possibility of actual freedom seems impossible. Too good to be true. But the alternative is continuing like this. Continuing to hide. Continuing to feel this constant ache, this incomplete bond, pulling at me. Continuing to watch my life pass by while I stay frozen in this moment of fear and anger and desperate self-preservation. I've been surviving for 6 years, but I haven't been living. When? The word comes out steady. Decided. Because somewhere in this conversation, I've made a choice. Maybe not trust. Maybe not forgiveness. But a choice to take control of my own fate instead of letting fear control me. The next full moon, he says. 1 month from tonight. The breaking ceremony requires the same conditions as the binding ceremony, full moon, both participants willing, the presence of the pack elders to witness and contain the magic. And if I say no? If I decide to keep hiding? His expression doesn't change, but I can feel his pain through the bond. Sharp and immediate. Then I'll leave. I'll tell the elders you're truly deaf, that the bond is impossible, that they need to find another way forward. And I'll spend the rest of my life feeling you suffer and knowing I couldn't save you from it. The worst part is, I believe him. This man, this Alpha King who's supposed to be my enemy, my captor, the embodiment of everything I've been running from, he actually cares. He actually wants to help me, even if it destroys him in the process. And I don't know how to reconcile that with the monster I've built him up to be in my head. I need time, I say. Time to think. Time to process. Time to figure out if this is real, or if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. You have a month, he says. But Amara? Please don't run. If you disappear again, I won't come after you. I'll respect your choice. But you need to know, the incomplete bond will keep hurting you. It will keep pulling at you. And eventually it might drive you mad. Or it might complete itself without your consent, which would be even worse. The threat isn't coming from him. It's coming from the magic itself, from the ritual that's been half completed and left to fester for 6 years. He's not trying to manipulate me. He's trying to warn me. I won't run. I hear myself say. I'm tired of running. The relief on his face is profound. He reaches out, instinctively, unconsciously, and then catches himself, pulling his hand back before touching me. Thank you, he says quietly. For hearing me out, for giving this a chance, for being brave enough to stop hiding, even if it's just for tonight. He turns to leave, and I should let him go. I should stay silent. But there's a question burning in my chest, and if I don't ask it now, I never will. Kaelen. His name feels strange on my tongue. Intimate. Why did you fight against the ritual in the first place? If having a bonded mate gives you power, why didn't you want it? He stops in the doorway, his back to me, and for a long moment, I think he won't answer. Then he turns his head, just enough that I can see his profile in the moonlight. Because I've seen what it does to people, he says. Forced bonds. Mandatory matings. Women turned into possessions instead of partners. My father had a bonded mate. My mother. And he destroyed her. Systematically, methodically destroyed everything that made her who she was until there was nothing left but an empty shell wearing her face. I watched it happen. I was too young to stop it. And I swore on everything I hold sacred that I would never do that to someone. That I would never use the bond as a weapon. That any mate I took would choose me freely, or I would die alone. The pain in his voice is so raw, so real, that it physically hurts to hear it. So when they told me the ritual was being invoked for you, I fought it. I argued. I pled. I threatened. But the elders were adamant. You were the one. The magic had chosen you. And if I refused, they would find a way to complete the ritual anyway, possibly with someone who wouldn't care about your consent or your well-being. So I tried to be strategic. Tried to delay. Tried to find a loophole. He laughs, bitter and self-deprecating. And while I was being clever, you were being brave. You found your own loophole, one I never would have thought of. It wasn't brave, I say quietly. It was desperate. Sometimes they're the same thing. He meets my eyes one more time, and the understanding in them makes my chest tight. 1 month, Amara. The next full moon. And then we end this. Together. He leaves. The door closes behind him, and I'm alone again in my small room with the full moon shining through the window. Except I'm not alone. Not really. Because I can still feel him. That bond, that connection, that incomplete thing pulling us together. But for the first time in 6 years, it doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like a choice. And maybe, just maybe, that changes everything. The month that follows is the strangest of my life. And considering the previous 6 years have involved pretending to be deaf while hiding from a supernatural bond, that's saying something. I don't hide anymore. Not completely. I still don't speak in public. 6 years of silence isn't easy to break, but I stop pretending quite so hard. I let my eyes follow sounds. I let my expression react to conversations. Small things. Subtle things. But enough that the people around me start to notice. Amara? The healer who's been caring for me approaches one afternoon with a curious expression. Can you hear me? I nod. Just a small movement of my head, but it's the first honest thing I've done in years. Her eyes widen. But we thought, the elder said. I lied. My voice is still rough, still unused, but getting stronger every day.
I'm sorry.
I lied to all of you. I expect anger, accusations, betrayal. Instead, she just looks sad. We failed you, she says quietly. Whatever made you feel like you had to hide from us like that? We failed you. The pack failed you. And I'm sorry. The apology breaks something inside me. Something hard and defensive that I've been using as armor. Because she's right. I shouldn't have had to make that choice. I shouldn't have had to destroy part of myself to stay safe. And the fact that she recognizes that she's apologizing instead of condemning me, it matters. Word spreads quickly. The deaf girl, who isn't really deaf. The woman who fooled the entire pack for 6 years. I become the subject of whispers, speculation, curiosity. But not hatred. Not anger. Mostly just understanding. Because they know about the ritual. They know what it means. And apparently more than a few of them think what was done to me was wrong. I would have done the same thing. One of the younger women tells me in the market. If they tried to force that bond on me, I would have found a way to hide too. You were brave. I don't feel brave. I feel exhausted and scared and uncertain about the future. But I'm starting to realize that maybe Kaelen was right. Maybe desperation and bravery sometimes look the same. I see him occasionally, always from a distance. He doesn't approach me, doesn't try to talk to me, doesn't push. True to his word, he's giving me space, giving me time. But I can feel him. That bond between us is getting stronger as the full moon approaches. Or maybe I'm just more aware of it now that I'm not actively suppressing it. I can feel his emotions, his determination, his fear, his hope. And the more I feel him, the more I realize that everything he told me that night was true. He's not a monster. He's not my enemy. He's just a man who is trapped by the same system that trapped me, trying to find a way out that doesn't destroy us both. And that terrifies me. Because it's easier to hate him when I think he's the villain. It's easier to justify my anger, my fear, my 6 years of hiding. But if he's not the villain, if he's just another victim, then what does that make me? A survivor, maybe, but also someone who's been running from the wrong thing. The pull gets worse as the full moon approaches. That ache in my chest becomes a physical thing, dragging me toward him. I catch myself turning in his direction without meaning to. I dream about him. Not sexual dreams, but something deeper. Dreams where we're connected, where I can feel his thoughts and he can feel mine, where we're so intimately intertwined that separating us feels like tearing skin. I wake from those dreams shaking and scared, because they don't feel like nightmares. They feel like promises. Like the bond showing me what could be, if I let it complete. And part of me, a part one absolutely hate, wants it. The night before the full moon, I can't sleep. I pace my room, anxiety eating at my insides, second-guessing every decision that led me to this moment. What if the breaking ceremony fails? What if it kills us both? What if it completes the bond instead of breaking it? What if I'm making a terrible mistake? But then I remember the alternative. 6 more years of hiding. 6 more years of this ache. 6 more years of watching life pass me by while I stay frozen in fear.
No.
I'm done hiding. I'm done running. Tomorrow night, one way or another, this ends. The day of the full moon dawns clear and bright. Too beautiful for what's coming. I should be terrified. I should be having second thoughts. But instead, I feel strangely calm. Like I've finally stopped fighting against the current and decided to see where it takes me. The pack gathers as evening approaches. The same clearing where the original binding ceremony was supposed to take place 6 years ago. The same circle of stones. The same ancient magic humming in the air. But this time, I'm walking into it with my eyes open. With my choice made. Kaelen is already there when I arrive. He's dressed in ceremonial robes, black and silver, marking his status as Alpha King. He looks powerful, dangerous. But when his eyes meet mine, I see the same fear I feel. The same uncertainty. We're in this together. Both of us taking a leap into the unknown. The elders explain the ceremony. The breaking is the reverse of the binding. Instead of accepting the bond, we have to actively reject it. We have to face every connection, every tie, every strand of magic that wants to bind us together, and we have to sever it. Consciously, deliberately. While the magic fights back, trying to complete itself. It will hurt. They make that very clear. It will feel like we're being torn apart from the inside. Like every cell in our body is screaming in protest. And if we waver, if we hesitate, if we give in to the pain, the bond will complete itself, and we'll be bound forever. Do you understand? The head elder looks at both of us sternly. Once you begin, there's no stopping. No turning back. You either break the bond completely, or you complete it. There is no middle ground. I understand, I say, and my voice is steady. I understand, Kaelen echoes. The elder nods. Then step into the circle. We do. And the moment both our feet cross the boundary, the world explodes with pain. It's like every nerve ending in my body is on fire. The incomplete bond, the thing that's been a dull ache for 6 years, suddenly becomes a screaming, demanding presence. It wants to complete. It needs to complete. It's pulling me toward Kaelen with a force I can barely resist. I look at him and see my pain reflected in his eyes. He's struggling too, fighting against the same pull, the same overwhelming need to just give in and let the bond form. Fight it, he grits out through clenched teeth. Amara, you have to fight it. I am fighting. God, I'm fighting with everything I have. But it's so hard. Because the bond isn't just trying to complete itself, it's showing me what it could give me. Connection. Belonging. An end to the loneliness that's been eating at me for years. I could have a partner who understands me completely.
Who feels what I feel.
Who would never let me suffer alone again.
All I have to do is stop fighting. Just for a moment.
Just let go.
No.
No, I didn't come this far to give up now. I didn't spend 6 years in silence to surrender at the last moment. The ceremony progresses. The elders chant in the old language, words that resonate with power, that make the very air shimmer. And with each word, I can feel the bond trying to form. Threads of magic reaching out, trying to connect us. Heart to heart, soul to soul, mind to mind. And I have to reject each one. Consciously, deliberately. Cutting away the connections before they can fully form. It's agony. Every severed thread feels like losing a piece of myself. Like I'm destroying something beautiful and precious. The bond is showing me memories that haven't happened yet, moments we could share, lives we could build, a future where we're not enemies but partners. I see Kaelen standing beside me as I rule the pack. I see us laughing together, fighting together, growing old together. I see children who have his eyes and my smile. I see a life that could be full and rich and meaningful, and I have to destroy it, over and over again. Each possibility, each future, each moment of connection, I have to cut it away. Tears are streaming down my face. Kaelen is bleeding from his nose, from his eyes, from the strain of fighting against something that should be natural and beautiful, but has been poisoned by force, by tradition, by circumstances neither of us chose. I'm sorry. I sob, though I don't know who I'm apologizing to. Him? Myself? The bond itself? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, he gasps.
Don't you dare apologize for choosing yourself. For choosing freedom. Keep fighting, Amara. We're almost there. The pain is unbearable now. I can barely stand, barely breathe. The magic is fighting back with everything it has, trying to force the completion, trying to overcome our resistance. And then, right when I think I can't take any more, right when I'm about to collapse, something breaks.
Not me.
Not Kaelen. The bond itself. The magic shatters. All those threads, all those connections, all those possibilities, they fracture and dissolve into nothing. The pull I've felt for 6 years suddenly goes silent. The ache in my chest vanishes. The awareness of Kaelen's emotions, his presence, his very existence, it all disappears. I'm alone in my own head for the first time in 6 years. The silence is deafening. I collapse. So does Kaelen. We're both on our knees in the circle, gasping for air, bleeding from a dozen small wounds, trembling from the pain and the strain and the sheer overwhelming relief of it being over. Is it done? I managed to ask.
My voice sounds wrong.
Empty. Because for 6 years, there's been this background noise, the bond, humming at the edge of my awareness. And now it's gone. The head elder checks us both, examines the magical signature around us, tests the space where the bond used to be. It's done, she finally says, and there's something like respect in her voice. The bond is broken.
Completely.
You're free.
Free.
I should be ecstatic. I should be celebrating. This is what I wanted. What I fought for. 6 years of hiding, 6 years of suffering, 6 years of destroying myself to avoid this bond. And now it's gone. I won. So, why do I feel so empty? I look at Kaelen. He's looking back at me. And there's nothing. No pull. No awareness. No connection. He's just a man. A stranger. Someone I barely know. The elders help us to our feet. Help us out of the circle. The pack members who witnessed the ceremony are looking at us with a mixture of awe and pity. They saw what we went through. They know what it cost. Kaelen speaks first. Thank you, he says to me. Formal, distant, for being brave enough to do this. I hope you find the freedom you were looking for. He turns to leave, and I should let him go. I should be grateful that this nightmare is over. I should go back to my life, figure out who I am without the constant weight of fear and hiding and pretending. But instead, I hear myself say, wait.
He stops.
Turns back. Waiting. And I realize something that makes my chest tighten with a feeling I can't name. For 6 years, I've been running from him, hiding from the bond, convinced that being bound to him would destroy me. But now that the bond is gone, now that I'm truly free, I feel more lost than I ever did before. Because the bond wasn't just a chain. It was also a connection. And now I'm completely, utterly alone. I don't know what to do now, I admit. The words feel like a confession. I spent so long fighting to be free that I never thought about what freedom would actually feel like. And it feels... I struggle to find the right word. Empty. Something flickers in his eyes. Understanding, maybe. I know, he says quietly. I feel it too. The absence. Like there's a hole where something used to be. We stand there in the moonlight, 2 people who were supposed to be bonded, who fought against fate with everything they had, who won their freedom but lost something they didn't know they needed. What happens now? I ask. He shakes his head. I don't know. We're free. Both of us. Free to make our own choices, live our own lives, become who we were meant to be, without magic forcing us together. He pauses and then adds, almost hesitantly, but that doesn't mean we can't choose each other. If we want to. My heart stutters. What are you saying? I'm saying that the bond is broken. We're not destined. We're not fated. There's no magic connecting us anymore. He takes a step closer, and without the bond, I can't feel his emotions. I can't sense his intentions. I can only see him, really see him, for the first time. But maybe we could try getting to know each other. Not as alpha and victim. Not as captor and prisoner. Just as two people who've been through hell together and came out the other side. It's terrifying. The idea of choosing him freely, without the excuse of magic or fate or bonds. Taking responsibility for my own feelings instead of blaming them on forces beyond my control. But it's also liberating. I don't trust you. I say honestly. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time. I know. And I'm still angry. About the ritual. About what was done to me. About 6 years of my life that I can never get back. I know. And I have no idea who I am anymore. I spent so long being the deaf girl, the hidden girl, the running girl. I need time to figure out who Amara actually is. I know.
He's not arguing.
Not defending. Just accepting everything I'm saying. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. I look at him, really look at him, without the filter of the bond or the fear or the anger. And I see a man who's been suffering his own version of hell, who fought against a system that should have empowered him, who was willing to die to set me free. Maybe he's not the enemy. Maybe he never was. Okay, I hear myself say. Okay, we can try. Getting to know each other. No pressure. No expectations. Just two people. Seeing what happens. The smile that crosses his face is so genuine, so relieved, that it makes my chest warm. Just two people, he agrees. The full moon is setting as we walk out of the clearing together. Not touching. Not connected. Just two separate individuals who might choose to become something more. And for the first time in 6 years, I'm not running from my future. I'm walking toward it. Freely.